Hello everybody, Voodoo here, and today I want to take a quick look at kind of the updated builds we have following the most recent nerfs, and also take a look at a bit at their damage breakdown and how they're playing in the game. So nice little single target, mostly based video. I have like an AoE one planned for later. So we'll go over like 3 builds today and just talk about how they're doing, talk about sims and stuff like that. Again, this is after the nerfs that came in on October 10th. So post those nerfs before, hopefully no others, but you know, we'll see what happens. But anyways, before we get into the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Channels are going great recently. We're almost pushing to 7,000 subs now, which is crazy. Hoping to hit 10,000 sometime around the new year, which would be really sick. But you guys are awesome, and let's get into the video. All right, so I am here on raid bots. Shout out to Azor, Matt. He's a guy I used to raid with actually, and he was the person who did a lot of gear optimization for these. Him and I went back and forth a bit on simming as well. I did some of these, he did some of these. So shout out to that guy. Shout out to TXT, NBs, and Sailder as well for doing the APL and stuff like that. But this is our current best single target build, without bugs of course, but the bugs right now are kind of plus minus, so it doesn't really matter too much. So this is actually not the same build from last week. So this is a Cycle of Hatred based build. So last week the nerfs came into chaotic disposition and unbound. It's not unbound chaos, sorry. Not a momentum, but inertia. So this was reduced from 21 to 17%, which is like 4% less on the number, but like 22% less on the effect. Weird, whatever. And inertia was reduced, you can't read it, but it was reduced from 20 to 18. So that came through and kind of nerfed the other build more so than this build. And then they nerfed Burning Hatred as well, so you get 10 less fury from it. But this is our current like best simming build. And it's not that far ahead. We'll jump to another sim after that shows like the difference between the two. Really is not that far ahead of the other build. This one's at like 250,000 DPS is a quick sim. The other one's at 248. I don't know what this is doing. This is with different like stats and gear and stuff. But this is our best sim with like stats and gear and things. And then this is like with different stats. But right now, 250,000 for this. This is like a pretty simple stuff. It's momentum. You know, everybody kind of knows at this point. It's basically how Havoc has played for a while. You do have more natural downtime. You can see here. You're just kind of waiting for resource often. Which will lead to just gassing rotation, which means that the downtime won't be as affected. You know, any downtime you have is kind of just gonna eat into these wait for resources, because your things will come off CD. You'll have more uptime, sort of not uptime, but have more like ability to use those buttons. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Like, it is still gonna be uptime focused, but it won't be anywhere near the same degree as before. The reason why this build is doing so well is mostly because of Vicious Brand and Annihilating Flame, which are the 2 trinkets. These things get kind of omega juiced because of all the haste you have. Now, there is a little bit of something right now on like sims where there's a strength weapon. I'll actually pull up the sim now. There's a strength weapon that's simming really well. It's currently bugged. Actually, we deleted the sim. It's currently bugged to where it's doing like a lot more. So we'll hold off on that. We'll see if that ends up happening. But currently like, there's a strength weapon doing 6,000 more DPS, but it's bugged in sims. So we'll have to kind of hold off and see if that's actually good or not. So that's the cycle build. This is the other build. It's like 2%, or sorry, not 2%, 0.7%, I think, between this and the other one. Again, I don't have a sim comparing the two right now because like the gear is different and stuff, but like whatever. This build the exact same as before, playing with a bit more of inertia. You can see here 18% instead of the 20%, and then the nerf chaotic disposition. Build is still very good, especially in cleave or larger target counts, and is better with burst because you have inertia, so you're burst here. And then also on top of that, you are also better at downtime. So I do think it's going to come down to you play cycle on like 1 to 3 bosses maybe in the raid, and you play this on everything else. So if you're a cycle hater, you really don't ever have to play cycle because this is so close. Again, it's like this is 248, this is 250, it's 2,000 DPS. It's like nothing, right? Moving on from that though, there is no mover. So this is the best no mover build currently that I was running for sims after all the nerfs and things. I know I had one last week that was taking chaotic disposition. Currently not doing that. Taking improved chaos strike, critical chaos, all that stuff. This is coming in at roughly 244, which is further behind this one than the other one because this is a little bit ahead. But not too bad, 2.5% roughly. Probably be able to get a little bit more out of that. I think there might have been something better by running some immolation aura stuff, but again, roughly 2.5%, 2.3% behind. So if you really don't like the movement stuff, then you really can go on and play no mover in single target. So again, if you're not really a no mover fan, don't really worry about that. Those are kind of the updated sims and updated builds. We are going to hop into the PTR now, and I do want to take a quick little discussion and like showcase a bit about how these builds are played in their opener, just to give guys a kind of bit of a primer at this point now. All right, folks, we are in game now. So what we're going to do here is just simply do the burst opener for every single one of these builds I talked about. To keep it simple, this is the gear I'm using. It's just the gear I had, plus some trinkets and the thorn collar's weapon and yada, 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 whatever. So keep it simple, same baseline gear. Stats are kind of bad. We're all over the place, but whatever. So we're going to look at this one first. Dropping rage fire for this, of course. My bad, I was in AoE talents. So the only real difficulty here is inertia. Inertia is a buff you want to plan around to kind of empower your strongest windows, and right now the strongest things you have to buff are going to be the hunt and they're going to be death sweep. Those are the two like highest damage per execution time buttons you have. So when you push them, they do the most damage. So according to our sims and the APL and stuff like that, right now openers are going to look something kind of like the follow. You want to do your immolation aura, sigil flame, whatever, flip those, whatever, I-beam, hunt in, fell rush through, essence break, backflip, death sweep, meta, death sweep, immolation aura again, annihilation, fell rush, I-beam, and then you want to have your inertia up for the very last death sweep. And from here, you want to just make sure you're not capping on charges, and you know you're going to use your immolation aura with death sweep and kind of just keep one for your essence break. It's not too bad. It's basically just like the same as Demon Hunter from old. It's just you're planning around your essence break window and using any excess fell rush charges on death sweep or blade dance because of the glaives. If you get any reset procs, you want to just pretty much use them right away so you don't waste them, and you just kind of send it, boom, death sweep. Pretty simple like that. We're gonna go for 1 minute here, just so that we get kind of the most out of it. We'll use the hunt raw here because we have a window coming up. I-beam, fell rush, essence break, backflip, death sweep, and that's kind of the deal. So we'll go to 1 minute, and then we'll flip off here. And it's looking pretty good. I know a lot of death sweep, a lot of annihilation. Hunt dot's high. Doctor's position is pretty high as well. You'll notice the trinkets aren't too high. The thing with Vicious Brand is that it's kind of stacks up over time. I only have 4 stacks right now. At 15 stacks, this thing absolutely cranks. So that's kind of the idea for the opener for this build. We're gonna hop over to the Cycle of Hatred build. It's a lot similar to how you play on live currently, so this one shouldn't be that different for most people. We'll take a look at that one. All right, so here we are with Cycle. Now, before everyone starts booing, the Cycle build, realistically, it's not very much ahead of the other one. We'll see what happens in tuning changes. If things are nerfed, balance could change again. If trinkets are nerfed, this gets worse. If like, I don't know, like immolation aura or something gets nerfed, the other build gets worse. So let's see what happens there with tuning and everything like that. But this is pretty much the same as before, except now you have glaives. They're very passive though. So pretty much the only way this is changing is that you're actually going to have some more downtime in your rotation. And also just momentum is much better than it was before. Like it's just a lot better to use. And you're just like using all your generators. Now the downtime in your rotation will mean that you get less punished by forced downtime on the boss, because any of that forced downtime eats a bit away at the downtime you'd have in your rotation, compresses it a bit more. So the forced outtime issue is still going to be present because you have Cycle and Shadow Destiny that both incentivize you to be on the boss for as long as possible. But Demonic doesn't last as long. Cycle works with Throw Glaive now as well, so it's a little bit better if you're forced off the boss. Opener works pretty much the same way as like live. Sigil, hunt, fell rush in, hunt, I-beam, annihilation, backflip, essence break, death sweep, meta, death sweep, annihilation. I'm gonna fell rush here because why not? I-beam. It's the same stuff you know and love. It's really not much is changing. All you got to do now is really make sure you're using all your fury generators like as much as possible, because you have a lot less fury. To fill up your empty globals, you can just fell rush as well. This is going to help both stack up momentum and also just kind of do some damage when you otherwise couldn't. But pretty much like the exact same way, this build's whole thing is going to be based around the trinkets. So if your trinkets are not like going off, then this build isn't going to do much. It really picks up kind of around like a 4-minute mark in a fight while doing almost like no burst damage comparatively. So you might see my damage is going to be a bit lower here. Oh no, it's starting to pick up now because of Signet Brand. But this one's going to be one of those ones where it's going to be better like the longer you go in a fight, because it's like a lot of sustained damage, stuff like that. See, our breakdown here is a lot more like dot proc based, a lot less soul scar, because we don't have that damage amp in there. We have some weird bugs with it. Inner Demon exists. We have an Unending Flame kind of just absolutely blasting off. I don't know why it's actually ending up doing so much. I guess because like it's higher eye level than a lot of my gear is right now. But it is absolutely slamming. Oh, it's gone. Okay, where is it? I think this is it. So a lot of proc based stuff, nothing too crazy. Rotation's very, very simple. We'll see if you actually end up playing it, because again, it's like not that much better than the other build. Really at all. So we'll see where it gets. It's around if you like cycle. All right, finally we have no mover. This build is super comfy. It's like really not many buttons at all. You're basically just pushing like Annihilation, Death Sweep, Eye Beam with like Essence Break thrown in there, and then your generators. So if you are a fan of very few buttons, then this is the build for you. It's going to be pretty much the same as the other build, except there's no fell rushing, there's no flipping. You're just sitting there using your Essence Break every now and then, and just kind of going for it. Now, there is one thing. You will also have empty globals in downtime, and during that downtime, it is technically correct to use Fell Rush to fill the gap, because, again, it's free damage that you otherwise wouldn't be having anything with. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. The game, play how you want to play. But, you still do want to end up using Fell Rush during downtime, just because it's a free global, why not? But you don't technically need to. So we start pretty much the same way. Sigil, Immolation, Aura, Hunt in, Eye Beam, Essence Break. I almost turned around. Death Sweep. I'm missing all of my Annihilations. I just realized that. Use your Annihilations there. I just realized I missed that. But it's literally the same thing, and I'm not moving at all. You want to wiggle a bit, because you will get souls. So it's important if you end up wiggling. And here, I should have Fell Rushed there, but we're going as if I have like no fell rushing, so we're doing that. I will say the Fury in this build is like a lot worse, which is one of the big issues. Like, you have Fury from Eye Beam, which you really want to capitalize on, but it does feel a little bit worse here. Any waste of Fury with this build really is going to be like a big loss, which is not great, but it's very easy to play. I'm here. I'm just pushing buttons. I'm not moving. It's very easy to kind of realize the DPS potential here. There's a very low chance of you ever like messing up. Personally, I probably won't ever play this build. I'm a fan of movement stuff, and I do find just sitting around here a bit lackluster. If I wanted to sit around, I could play a different class. But for those of you who are big no mover fans, if you're just new to the class, you're trying to pick stuff up and are worried about all the movement stuff, this one's really easy. I just realized we went longer than a minute. I was just talking, but here's your breakdown. Nothing too crazy. I did kind of screw up the opener because I forgot we were playing Inner Demon, because there's like a build that doesn't play that. But here it is. Nothing too crazy again. Just kind of good old stuff. Again, Vicious Brand really stacks up whenever you have like 15 stacks of this. It does like a ton of damage. That's kind of the idea with this build. Very easy, no mover build. Really nothing too crazy. Pretty simple, pretty easy for people to do. And if you don't like movement, play this build. It's fine. It's like 2%. 2% is not that much. You really can play that. So that's those are the 3 builds. So we are gonna end off the video, I guess. All right, so that is going to be it for kind of our damage testing, updated builds kind of video. So there's 3 builds right now for Havoc, where they're all kind of pretty close to each other for single target. Cycle and the glaive stuff, well, they all have glaive stuff, but like left right, we're calling it, are all pretty close to each other. It's like 0.7%, which is really not that much. And then no mover is like 2%, 2.5, 2.3, somewhere in that range, depending on the build behind as well. And again, that's really not that much either. So all 3 of these builds, really you can play and not have that big of a loss. They're all classic Havoc stuff, but you're using like your Fury generators now, which I think is a great change. You're moving around a lot less in the movement builds. You're not moving at all in the no movement build. So pretty good overall, I think good changes, but we'll see where this goes. Again, any tuning can and probably will end up changing this. I will have another video out going over like Mythic Plus kind of things for this, maybe Monday or Tuesday sometime next week. I don't know when this video is coming out, maybe Saturday, Sunday. But I do want to do one for AoE as well, because there are some interesting discussions to be had for AoE for Havoc Demon Hunter. But for now, that's going to be it for the video, so I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below which video you want to play. Maybe you hate Cycle, maybe you love Cycle. I know there's stuff out there for both people, so let me know. Like the video as well, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you want to help me out, follow me on Twitch, join my Discord and become a channel member. It's a little bit a month. It helps support me, get some cool stuff as well. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good weekend. Peace. A big thank you to all of my channel members. Thank you, Andrew Keenel, 121, Payne, Andreas Latinakis, Joshua O'Connell, Period, Brad Wisniak, Zuligan, Exclamation, It's Bulk, and Flapjack67. Thank you all so much. It means the world to me. If you want to support myself, get some exclusive videos, get some emotes for comments, get an exclusive section of my Discord, then follow the link down below. Help me out a little bit. It's a great way to support me. But again, thank you all so much for helping keep the channel going and for all the support and everything. And appreciate you all. See you guys next time.